Ever feel like this in a maths classroom? You try to make sense of what's happening in class. Before you know it, tomorrow you come again, you try to make sense of it, but before you know it, same outcome. Perhaps if you get the basics of maths, you will find more pleasure in your math experience. So if you get the basics, you can form a nice rhythm where you swing side to side, left, right, as my good friend Carlton is doing in that video there, because you've got the basics right. So in this video, we're teaching the basics and we're focusing on the order of operations. So, what if I told you guys that 8 divided by 8 is equal to 16? You'll be like, what? What kind of maths is this? This is obviously absurd, right? But if I break down the 8, let's say divided by, let's break down this 8 here. It's the same as 2 times 4. If I left the sum like this, then most likely my original assumption now looks like it can make sense. But then, of course, this is not what the sum means. 8 divided by 8 is not the same as 8 divided by 2 times 4. It means 8 divided by the product of 2 times 4, which is the same as 8. So you can see that the introduction of a bracket here has allowed me to be able to see how the sum is. Okay? This bracket now tells me that 8 divided by whatever is inside the bracket, which is the 8, and gives me the correct answer of 1. So many a times, when we get sums that involve brackets, we need to make sure that we do the brackets first. Okay, so in this video, we're going to use the acronym BEDMAS, where the B represents the brackets, E exponents, the D division, the M multiplication, the A addition, and the S subtraction. Okay. So in the first question, we've got an interesting sum. Where do we begin? The bracket. So the 2 is going to remain. Inside the bracket, let's go to the bracket that is at the center. So I've got 11 plus 1, which is 12, minus 4. This gives me 8. The 8 times 3 becomes 24. Times 2 divided by 4. When it comes to multiplication and addition and division, I do what comes first, multiplication. So this becomes 2 plus 48 divided by 4. 48 divided by 4 will give me 12. So this becomes 2 plus 12 to give me an answer of 14. Go for the bracket first. Number 2, I've got a very interesting sum with so many operators involved. My first point, the bracket first. So this becomes 25 minus 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 squared means repeated multiplication, 4 times 4. So this becomes 2 times 16 divided by 8 plus 1 times 5 minus 10. Now, I'm going to simplify this bracket here before I do the division. So another trick is when you're simplifying a bracket, if there's a number immediately outside the bracket, you need to do that whole operation before you do even a division or multiplication. So this becomes 25 minus 32 divided by 8 plus 1 times 5 minus 10. The 32 divided by 8 is 4 plus 1 times 5 is now 5 minus 10. In the case of addition and subtraction, whatever comes first is what I do. 25 minus 4 is 21. 21 plus 5 is 26. 26 minus 10 is 16. At this point, press pause and work out the following sums, number 1, number 2, and number 3. Resist the temptation of using a calculator and work them out without using a calculator. In other words, work them out mentally. I always get learners who say to me, but I don't need to master the order of operation. I can always use a calculator. Well, that might sound to be true, but the reality is you do lose a lot. There's something that is lost with that. You become over-reliant on the calculator and you lose a foundational knowledge that is invested in this process. And when it comes to other processes of algebra, equations, graphs, and all that, you will struggle a lot. So resist the temptation of the calculator. Work these sums without a calculator. When you've finished working the sums, press play again. Okay. So here are the solutions. So number 1, 9 divided by 3 was 3. 3 times 5 became 15 minus what's 12 divided by 3 is 4. And this gives you 11. And number 2, the bracket before squaring, 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 times 2 divided by 2. So let's try and figure that out first. So this becomes 6 divided by 3 is 2, times 2 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is another 2. So 2 squared is 4. So this becomes 4 divided by 4 plus 1. What's 4 divided by 4? Division first is 1. 1 plus 1, answer of 2. Number 3, bracket first. 5 squared is 25, minus 10 is 15. Okay, 15 times 2 becomes 30. And then there's a 2 squared becomes 4. What's 30 divided by 10? Becomes 3. So this becomes 3 times 2 minus 4. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 4 equals 2. Thanks guys for watching. See you around next time. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. There's more maths for you. See you next time.